This game is brought to you by Pepsi. More happy. I love New York. What a great vacation. ILoveNY.com. Pontiac, the official performance machines of the MAAC. And by Anaconda Sports and The Rock, the official basketball of the MAAC.
The Iona Gales will take on the Ryder Broncs in the second of our two games here on opening night at the arena at Harbor Yard in Bridgeport, Connecticut. The Broncs come in with a record of 15-14 overall. However, they have lost 3 of the last 4 coming into tournament play. They finished the regular season in league play at 9-9. Not often when a team that goes 500 in the regular season has to play in this first round on Friday night. Our keys to the game brought to you by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Iona, they've got to go right at Jason Thompson, something they were able to do in their win against Ryder when they got Thompson in foul trouble. They've got to get off to a positive start to erase what's been a very difficult season. For Ryder, they'd have to have early energy. They've got to make sure that they get out and attack. And then we talked about it throughout the Open. They've got to create space with their 4-guard lineup to allow Jason Thompson room to maneuver inside.
Well, during a break in the first game, I had a chance to chat with Tommy Dempsey, as you see here. Our coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports and The Rock, the official basketball of the MAAC. And Coach Dempsey was saying how important it is in tournament play to come out and have energy at the beginning and not get yourself in a big hole. And he was referencing our first game where St. Peter's and Canisius were going back and forth, with St. Peter's coming out slowly to begin both halves and ultimately couldn't get out of those holes. Earl Watson, Will Bush. You see maroon, the color of choice for the Gales, as the number 10 seed. And they have the basketball first.
And you're talking about that energy. You've got to manufacture that energy yourself. It's a late ball game, 10 o'clock start. Not a whole lot of people in the building here. So if you're going to have energy, you got to go make hustle plays like that on the offensive board.
Sophomore Devon Clark from Windsor, Connecticut, with the first points here tonight.
And when they were able to beat Ryder, a big reason was because of the play of Clark. Remember, their win against Ryder at home was their first win of the season after starting 0-22, and Clark had a career-high 19 points in that game.
There is Jason Thompson against Anthony Bruin, our star watch, right off the bat, and Bruin picks up the foul.
And Bruin's got to be able to, as we said, have a monster game. He's got to stay on the floor, something that he can't do if he picks up early fouls.
And so our first look at Jason Thompson, the 6'10", 245-pound junior, who when he came out of high school in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, was not as big a recruit and not as big a player as he is right now. He was still growing. He was not 6'10" when he came out of high school, and really has blossomed into a star.
And you can see it right in his freshman year. He was a member of the All-MAAC rookie team and really showed you some glimpses that he could be a special player. And as we talked about it during the last game, he has certainly, to start off next year, one of those guys that will be in consideration for the preseason player of the year heading into his senior season next year.
Well, the Loyola coach, Jimmy Patso, says right now he is an ACC or Big East player. He is that good.
And he would know that from having coached in the ACC at the University of Maryland, and also knows a lot about Jason when he coached him on the team, the MAAC All-Star team that he took to China.
Sean Griffin, freshman point guard from Fayetteville, North Carolina, buries the three. Here's Mansell. Bruin picks off the rebound.
So this is the type of positive start that Iona needed. Again, come in having just won 2 games. You want to get off to a quick start so that you're not worrying about what's gone on throughout the regular season.
And now it's time to take a look at the series history, brought to you by Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA and the MAAC.
Talked about that February 3rd win as they were able to get their first win of the season, their only win in the MAAC. In that game, Terrence Mouton did not play for the Ryder Broncs. The senior, the only senior on this Ryder team, was suspended due to a violation of team rules, and obviously that was a factor for Ryder in that game.
Now another factor in that game is Griffin misfires. 5 minutes before the game, Jason Thompson was vomiting on the floor right before tip-off. So, you know, but both of these teams were not anywhere near full strength for that meeting. Iona still nowhere near full strength. But Ryder with Jason Thompson presumably feeling much better here tonight.
Yeah, and then not only sick to start off with, but getting into foul trouble. You see, with those 4 guards out on the perimeter, you've got the ability to take a guy like Ryan Thompson with his 6'5" frame, but the ability to put the ball to the floor and get into gaps. With the success that Villanova had last year, Doug, with that 4-guard offense, the only way that you're able to keep those 4 guards on the floor for extended time is if they rebound the basketball. And that certainly was one of the unsung keys last year for Villanova, the ability for Allen Ray and Randy Foy to get inside, defend post guys, and also rebound the basketball to keep them on the floor.
Justin Marshall kicks to Griffin on the right side. Even though he did knock down his first 3-point shot, not particularly a perimeter threat. And he is called for the traveling violation.
Griffin, a guy that's been pressed into the starting point guard role for Jeff Ruland's team because of the injury to Kyle Camper, who coming into the season was their starting point guard, began the year as their starting point guard. Talked about the fact that Iona's just been so banged up all season long, unable to get everybody on the floor at any time together all season.
Well, along with Jason Thompson and Terrence Mouton, Harris Mansell has been one of the 3 constants for Rider this year, and he looks good on his 3-point shot. Jump ball, the possession arrow goes the other way. Well, Jeff Ruland in his 9th season as head coach at his alma mater. And you see 3 times he has led the Gales to MAAC tournament titles and onto the NCAAs, including last year. They are the defending champs until Monday night. And Coach Ruland enduring what is clearly the longest season of his coaching and playing career. And just like that, 6 quick points on the 3-point shot by Lamar Johnson, and Coach Ruland uses a timeout.
And you know it's got to eat, Adam. This is a guy who's been a winner in every single thing that he's done. One of the all-time great players in Iona history, an NBA All-Star, but his team just has not been able to find any type of consistency this season. Lamar Johnson able to step right into a 3. And he's also had nothing but success as a head coach. He's taken Iona to 3 NCAA tournaments. Did a great job last year as they ran through the MAAC tournament after losing the regular season finale at Manhattan. There are a lot of teams after that loss would have packed it in, but Jeff Ruland able to get his team playing at its best when it counted most.
Well, here's that prior meeting where Iona got its only win of the MAAC season, 69-57. And from that, Coach Dempsey says, well, we're clearly not going to come in with false confidence. We know this team is capable of beating us, as opposed to if Iona was matched up with any of the other 8 teams in the conference, having not beaten any of them. So Rider certainly was not taking lightly Iona here tonight.
Right now, part of the 8-0 run, and they've used their defense, Doug, to get them some energy, stretching out the floor, getting into some full court pressure, and the trapping defense. That's one of the ways not only to create turnovers, but to create some energy and some opportunities to get out and run.
Milan Brodanovic into the ball game for Iona. Marshall from the foul line knocks it down. That snaps the 8-0 run.
He's been on a bit of a run. He's been in double figures 6 out of their last 8 games.
Jason Thompson looking to take Bruin off the dribble. He does so. And Bruin picks up his 2nd foul.
And Doug, you see how much room he has right there with the 4 guards and having to go guard the 4 guards out on the perimeter. You see what that does? It leaves an open post. So Jason Thompson able to put the ball to the floor, maneuver, and get by people. He's not a true post-up guy. If you're going to have to run him into the post all the time, you can lean on him, bang him, but when he's a moving target, you can't catch him.
And we talked in the first game tonight about how St. Peter's, with its lack of production from the perimeter, provided no help to Todd Sowell. Just the opposite with this Rider perimeter attack. They've got multiple guys who can hit shots from beyond the arc.
And the ability to stretch out because of that 3-point shooting is how you can play those 4 guards.
Jason Thompson and the Rider Broncs with a 6-point lead early here in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Canisius College in the city of Buffalo, one of 28 Jesuit universities across the nation, offering more than 70 undergraduate and graduate programs in the liberal arts, business, and education. Canisius prepares graduates to become leaders in their professions and in their communities. Personal attention, internships, service learning, and co-curricular activities provide opportunities to expand leadership skills and launch successful careers and lives. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
Back in Bridgeport, Ryder with the early lead over Iona at the Bank of America MAAC basketball tournament. Iona is a charter member of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. 7 titles in tournament play, the all-time record over the 26 years of the conference. 34-18, Iona has been in MAAC tournament play. And trying to add to that against the odds here tonight. Devon Clark at the free throw line.
And 3 of those 7 championships won by Jeff Rowland over the last 7 years.
Another statistic that to me jumps off the page is that Jeff Ruland is the second all-time winningest coach in Iona College basketball history. And again, this is a school that has had some tremendous coaches over the years.
I think about Jim Valvano, Pat Kennedy, Tim Welsh, guys that have been able to parlay their success at Iona to move on to a higher level. But Jeff Rowland didn't do that. He had the opportunity after he won his 2nd consecutive MAAC championship and got them to the NCAA tournament. But one thing about Jeff Rowland, loyalty is all about what he's about. I mean, he is a guy who is completely loyal to everybody who's part of his program, and he wanted to show that same loyalty to Iona. One of the reasons why he stayed and signed that long-term contract.
Johnson, nice job defensively to knock the ball out of bounds after Mansell drilled his 2nd three-pointer of the night. Kevin Hassett has come into the game for the Gales. Here's Mike Harris. Anthony Bruin on the bench after having picked up his 2nd foul. So then Justin Marshall becomes the primary option inside. Mouton with the strong drive. No good off the window. And the Gales back the other way, down by 5.
And a bit of a force by Mouton, who has not forced a whole lot of shots this year, has really settled in and been much more of a true point guard this year.
Clark with the in-between jump shot and pulls the Gales within 3.
And they've found some good success with that in-between jump shooting, not only from Clark, but other guys able to get into the mid-post.
6 points now for Devon Clark. Another miss by Ryder, 1 and done. Marshall with a rebound off to Harris.
Make sure out of the zone defense that you find Prodanovich, a good 3-point shooter who's been in and out of a couple of shooting slumps throughout the season. It seems like when he makes his first couple of shots, he's a guy that can all of a sudden get his confidence going again.
Harris misfires after freeing himself with a nice ball fake. Mouton fouled on the crossover dribble. Personal goes against Harris.
See Jason Thompson battling inside. Goes down to the floor. Marshall right involved with him. Obviously, Jason Thompson looking for the foul, but couldn't find it.
Jason Thompson was a preseason first-team All-MAC player. There's his tip-in. He made the postseason honor roll as well. 20 points, 10 rebounds per game. There's a board and a couple of points.
See, off to the quick start.
Another thing that he does that some of the other big guys don't do is Hassett misfires. He also hits a good percentage from the free throw line.
And if you're going to be a prolific scorer, you've got to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. You know he's going to get to the line because he's going to draw so much defensive attention.
And Thompson so far here tonight is a perfect 3 for 3 from the line. He's a perfect 2 for 2 from the floor.
When you go with that 4-guard offense, not only your ability to make shots from beyond the 3-point line, but your ability to get into gaps off of the dribble is so important. Now, you can spread 4 guards out there, Doug, but if they can't shoot it and can't keep you honest off the bounce, it's a lot easier to defend when you can go dribble, drive, and kick out as they do there. Now, all of a sudden, it's hard to guard. Well, Mouton makes a great play, turns the corner, does everything except finish it. So when you got Jason Thompson inside, sometimes you don't have to finish it.
Active with long arms. It's a good combination. Gets the easy 2. And Ryder's lead is 5.
Doug, he's kind of settled into his body. He was like that young Colt as a freshman, just kind of arms and legs all over the place. But now all of a sudden he's starting to become a much more efficient and effective basketball player.
Hassett cut when Marshall thought he was going to stay out on the wing, and so the ball goes back over to Ryder.
Nothing efficient or effective about that pass.
Hassett was a player who was earmarked to be redshirted this year, but with all of the injuries and other issues that have depleted the roster for Jeff Ruland, he had to turn to Hassett to play a lot of minutes this year. He's made a number of starts. Meanwhile, Thompson with another bucket.
You see him pounding his chest after that, as if to say, I'm here and I'm ready to go. Just keep throwing the ball to me. I'm ready to carry this team.
His kid brother Ryan with the steal, and then the steal back. Bad delivery by Mansell, and so Griffin will go to the line.
Now just the first turnover for Ryder. They were taking care of the basketball prior to that, trying to be aggressive out on the break. See Mansell trying to push the pace, but instead, good quickness by Griffin to come up with the steal.
And they say a non-shooting foul, even though Griffin did throw it up towards the rim. They say the contact came first.
You're talking about the fact that Hassett was earmarked to redshirt, and Griffin, a guy that was expected to be a backup at best. And with all the injuries, so many different guys have had to step into roles that really they weren't ready for yet, and that's one of the reasons why it's been such a tough season.
And what a difference a year makes. Harris with a brick. Last year's Iona team went up to Albany and won the MAAC tournament. Steve Burt Jr. was the MAAC tournament MVP, and as we've talked so much about, that great senior class that went out with a trip to the NCAA tournament.
And you knew it was going to be a tough season coming in as they graduated those 5,000 points, but with everybody all banged up, they never had an opportunity to get anything going with any type of consistency.
Well, you know, 5 years ago, that group of last year's seniors, they all came in together as freshmen and didn't bottom out as badly as it was this year. So again, you know, it's other factors than just that. You certainly can win with freshmen. We've seen the Fab Five. We saw Carmelo Anthony and Jerry McNamara's freshmen win the national title a few years ago. So it's certainly not beyond the realm of possibility to put freshmen out there and win. It just hasn't worked out that way this year.
And we've seen it in the MAAC this year. Siena with 2 terrific freshmen, a big part of their success for the Saints.
There is Jason Thompson off to a quick start as he and the Ryder Broncs have a 7-point lead. Thompson's 3 for 3 from the floor, 3 for 3 from the line, 9 points to lead all scorers.
MAAC fans can win great prizes in the MAAC Pathmark Slam Dunk program at area Pathmark stores. Use your Pathmark Advantage card to buy select Capri Sun Base 10-packs or Capri Sun Roaring Waters. Select Kool-Aid Jammers 10-packs or select Nabisco single-serve tray packs. And you're entered to win a Pathmark gift card and round-trip travel on JetBlue Airways or a gift card from FYE. For information, visit your local Pathmark store or MAACsports.com.
450 years of Jesuit tradition are woven into a Fairfield University education, an education characterized by academic excellence and service to the community. Fairfield's success is fostered by a caring faculty that knows their students as individuals. Located just an hour from New York City, Fairfield University combines a park-like campus conducive to learning with the city's cultural and career advantages. Fairfield University, where education reflects the challenges and opportunities of a changing world.
The winner of this ball game moves on to take on the Niagara Purple Eagles tomorrow night at 7:30 in the MAAC quarterfinals. Niagara lounging just a few rows up behind the Iona bench here at the arena at Harbor Yard. And we were talking before the break about the Iona Gales and the number of players that are not on the team or not on the active roster right now that Jeff Ruland was so heavily counting on at the start of the year.
And expecting big things. He thought Gary Springer had the ability for a breakout year in his junior season. You look at all those guys and said, hey, we've got a very good team. The problem is they're all in street clothes.
Yep.
Kyle Camper, who got off to a good start as their starting point guard. Dexter Gray the transfer from St. John's, who ended up becoming eligible, played for a couple games, and then had to sit to concentrate on academics. And then they lost Alejo Rodriguez, the freshman, who started to show some promise early on. I mean, they could never get anything going as far as any type of consistency because of all the injuries.
Rider shooting a decent percentage, led by their money man, Jason Thompson. Running into a brick wall was Barney Anderson, a sophomore from Jersey City. And the Gales back the other way, down by 7. Hassett from the baseline. Thompson and Marshall knock it around. The rebound eventually comes to Cam Warner.
And Rider would like to push the pace, given the opportunity.
Offensive foul goes against Ryan Thompson, who had an open look from the perimeter, but shoots under 30%. Chooses to drive and winds up picking up the foul.
Well, he can put the ball to the floor, but you see one extra bounce right there, and that's why he ends up picking up the charge. Show the ball, put it to the floor once. Now you've got a 12-footer along the baseline. That's a good shot.
Hassett to the bench. Again, Anthony Bruin picked up 2 fouls early and has been on the bench for the last several minutes.
And Bogdanovich reluctant to pull the trigger on a couple kickouts.
Southpaw from Archbishop Malloy High School picked up the dribble and hands off to Clark. Here is Bogdanovich. And now the shot clock becomes a factor. Harris spins into the 6'10" long arms of Thompson, and that's what you get when you don't take the shots that are available to you earlier in the shot clock.
Again, Bogdanovich not pulling the trigger on it. He had a good open look from 3, and as you said, instead of taking that, trying to find a better shot, and they ran out of time.
Here they go into Jason Thompson, kicks it back out. Again, they go in to Thompson. Marshall stands his ground, and we've got a jump ball. The possession arrow goes the other way. The Gales get it back.
Thompson's able to get isolations in the low post one-on-one because you can't double down on those 4 perimeter guys making shots, but that time didn't need help from another teammate. Good solid post defense.
Harris misses the 3, and a whistle and a foul on the rebound. On that last set, though, Rob, I really like the idea that you had 2 wing players, as Anthony Bruin looks on, feeding the post. Jason Thompson kicks it out, waits to get it back in. Everyone showing good patience to make sure they get the ball in a good position with their big guy down low. Now Anthony Bruin will come back in and replace Devon Clark.
And so many times, Doug, if you're a post player, you kick it back out and repost, you're going to get that good isolation inside.
Ryan Thompson, who's a bit shorter than his big brother. He's listed at 6'5", but he is similarly built to his brother, like his brother. He's long and lean and a good athlete. He's called an intangible guy by his coach.
Tommy Dempsey really likes his energy, his length, and Mansell comes in. And again, now they've got interchangeable parts out on the perimeter as they're able to bring guys like Cam Warner in, Cam Warner, a guy earlier in the season who was kind of a forgotten man, but able to step up, had a big game late in the season with the career-high 24 in their second-to-last game against Canisius.
And Kevin Vosilla has also come into the game for the first time for Rider, so the reserves for the Bronx getting lots of minutes here in the first half. Bogdanovich with the steal. He's got Griffin to the left. Warner gives the foul before the shot. So another chance to go to the line for Bogdanovich.
Jeff Rulin's team has gone cold here over the last 6 minutes, or without a field goal. Looked like Bogdanovich was going to get an opportunity to score one in transition after he came up with the steal.
This is the first round of the 2007 MAAC basketball tournament. Glad you could be with us here at the arena at Harbor Yard, right along the waterfront in southern Connecticut. John Kelly, the 7-foot junior, replaces Anthony Bruin. The Gales wearing their maroon uniforms. That's the road uniforms because they are the 10th seed here in the MAAC tournament. Rider wearing its home uniform. Can't say home whites, though.
the Grays, but last year Ryder was the 10th seed in Tommy Dempsey's first season. Last year as the interim coach.
And if Ryder is able to win here tonight, Rob, that will double their win total from a year ago. So great progress made from year 1 to year 2 in the Tommy Dempsey regime.
One of the reasons why they made good progress is the guy that just scored it there, Terrence Mouton. He really developed into that true point guard this year, giving up some of his scoring totals, and his assist numbers are up, his turnovers and shot attempts are down, but he's become a much more effective player and a much better leader with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, and as you said, he's made much better decisions, but still scoring over 13 points per game. Kelly has the pass go right through his hands. Here comes Cam Warner with Brodanovic to beat. And it's a blocking foul against the freshman for the Gales.
And that was one of those good decisions by Mouton to get the ball ahead, able to get out on the break. Mouton, the senior guard, trying to extend his senior season with some fine play as the Ryder Broncs right now on top of the Iona Gales by 9 here in Bridgeport.
I know most of you just graduated high school last year, or maybe you've been working for a while, seen some things, done some things, but nothing has prepared you for what's going to happen now. We're going to set goals for each of you, way up here, here, way up here, and then we're going to help you exceed them, believe it. And when finished, you're going to have not just a degree, you'll be a different person, a better person. Welcome to Iona.
Aspire, achieve. Iona. Call Iona College at 1-800-231-IONA.
Riders opened up a 9-point lead in the nightcap of our opening night of the MAAC tournament. And we've talked about the first-year head coaches. Half of the league has first-year head coaches this season, although Tommy Dempsey was an interim head coach a year ago. This is the first time that he has been the full-time head coach because he's taken over full-time for that man, Don Harnum.
Now the full-time athletic director. Last year he was in the interim role. See him looking up, smiled once he realized he was on camera. Don Harnum, guy who was able to lead Ryder to the MAAC championship game a couple years ago. Jerry Johnson, the fine guard, and they ran into a buzzsaw up in Buffalo as Niagara and Joe Mihalik's team able to cut down the nets behind Alvin Cruz and Juan Mendez and David Brooks, the three terrific seniors that were able to carry the Cobra Eagles to the championship 2 years ago. Ryder active, closing out the shooters out of the 2-3 zone.
And with Griffin on the bench, the point duties fall to Brodanovic. Here is Brodanovic.
Again, just reluctant to take that shot. Good interior passing. As the big guy, John Kelly, able to find an opening against the 2-3 zone at the high post and able to dump it inside to the short corner.
Well, the first time that an Iona player passed the ball to Kelly at the high post, he wasn't ready for it and had the ball bounce off his hands. This time he was really ready for it and delivered a terrific pass. At the other end, Mansell with another perimeter jump shot.
God, if he's got the basketball, you better go find him from beyond the three-point line. 3 for 3. That's not much news for him. How about 51% on the season? Best in the MAAC, one of the best in the country.
He's just a sophomore from Cheltenham, Pennsylvania. And as you say, very efficient. And there he is driving to the bucket for his first 2-point field goal. Mansell, the first into double figures. He's got 11. Jason Thompson has 9. And Jeff Ruland uses another timeout.
You can see the frustration on his face. Frustrated that his team has not been able to get back in transition. Ryder's done a good job of pushing the pace and trying to find some easy buckets out in transition. Talked about Mouton being more of a true point guard, and you can see it there. We've seen it a couple times where he's been looking ahead and easy scores like that, with face and reaction and frustration for Jeff Ruland, sum everything up.
So Mansell with the 11 points to lead all scorers. He's nearly reached his season average of just over 12 per game. Plenty of reason to smile if you're the Rider Broncs, off to a 13-point lead and eyeing a spot in the quarterfinals tomorrow night against Joe Mihalik and the Niagara Purple Eagles. And, you know, as we've talked about, Niagara as hot as anybody coming into the tournament on an 8-game winning streak. And it would surprise nobody if on Monday night at about 11:15, Joe Mihalik and his team was the one climbing the ladder to cut down the nets.
Oh, certainly, and one of the neat things about the tournament, so many teams playing really good basketball coming in. You look at the 8-game win streak not only for Niagara, but also an 8-game win streak for Marist. Siena's won 7 out of 8. Loyola, once they were able to recover from the illness to Gerald Brown, missed a couple games. Once he got himself back into the lineup, they finished strong to come up with that 3rd seed. So the 4 best teams playing some really good basketball coming in.
And that's not to say that Manhattan, Fairfield, Rider, or Canisius can't make some noise.
Well, Jeff Ruland took the timeout last time because his team was not hustling back. Also made a substitution, and it paid off. Kevin Hassett doing a better job with the energy to get back and come up with the tip to take away what would have been a layup.
Jason Thompson fouled by Marshall. And so Thompson will go back to the free throw line. A tough matchup for Marshall on that post. We've seen him do well on some, and there he picks up his 2nd personal foul.
Well, he's given up some size, and with the long arms of Jason Thompson, once he takes that ball in a nice inside pivot and shapes up, really tough to challenge his shot and go get a piece of the basketball. It's so high up.
Speaking of challenges, how about the Verizon Wireless Trivia Challenge? Play the MAAC Text to Win Trivia Challenge powered by Verizon Wireless. Just text the word MAAC to 2244 from your Verizon Wireless phone for your chance to win prizes only from Verizon Wireless. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Thompson closing in on a double-double here in the first half. He's already got his 10 points and 6 boards.
Deshaun Griffin back into the game, number 3 for Iona. He's worn number 5 at times this season, but wearing number 3 tonight. Contact on the 3-point shot, no call. And it's one and done for the Gales.
Credit Lamar Johnson getting in and getting after it on the defensive boards. That's what we're talking about. Your guards have to step in, be scrappy, and rebound the basketball. If you're going to play the 4-guard offense, you also got to defend and rebound with the 4 guards.
Anthony Bruin fouled on the shot, and so he will go to the line with just under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Harris Mansell picks up his 2nd personal foul here.
Good catch by Bruin. Able to put the ball to the floor, kind of gather himself and get an opportunity at the line.
Bruin is a senior from Colony, New York. He attended St. Thomas More Prep School before accepting the scholarship offer 4 years ago from Jeff Ruland to play in New Rochelle.
You saw that foul shot. You say, well, that was a pretty good release. Nice rotation, a little swish, but the foul line's been a problem not only for the Gales, but Anthony Bruin. Bruin just 41% on the season as we jinx him in a positive way as he knocks down both.
Well, he does not struggle from inside the paint at 58% from the floor this year among the national leaders. And last year as a junior, Bruin made 70% of his shots from the floor.
And how many of those were left-handed finishes around the rim? Does a great job finishing with his offhand. At times he's more comfortable finishing around the hoop with his left hand than his right.
Yeah, we highlighted Anthony Bruin in our Star Watch. And if they're going to make a run and make this a ball game, the seniors, as we talked about for Canisius in the opener of our doubleheader, will need to get there. And Marshall doing his part right there. He's now got 6 points. Now they try to establish Jason Thompson on the post with 15 seconds on the shot clock. Thompson screaming for the ball. Instead, his younger brother drives the other side of the lane and slams it home.
By screaming, maybe he distracted the defender.
You never know.
Helped freeing up his brother. A brotherly love.
Ryan with his first field goal. He now's got 4 points. Gales turn it over again, and here comes Ryan Thompson again. Taken right away by the quick hands of Deshaun Griffin.
We've seen his quickness a couple times, closing down on a couple outlet passes, that time with the quick hands.
Brdanovic into traffic and a blocking foul. They say Kevin Vasila was not set, and so he picks up his first personal foul. Well, Jason Thompson is the #1 star for Rider, but his younger brother can play a little basketball as well.
I know most of you just graduated high school last year, or maybe been working for a while, seen some things, done some things, but nothing has prepared you for what's going to happen now. We're going to set goals for each of you, way up here, way up here, and then we're going to help you exceed them, believe it. When we finish, you're going to have not just a degree, you'll be a different person, a better person.
(33-21). Rider with the 12-point lead over Iona late first half here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. At the arena at Harbor Yard, the first time the MAAC tournament has made its way to Connecticut. We have seen it in Albany. We've seen it in Buffalo. Seen it in East Rutherford, New Jersey. We've seen it in Trenton, New Jersey one time. But the first time we've come to the Nutmeg State. And you never know what's going to happen over the weekend. Somebody will be cutting down the nets Monday night and going on to the NCAA tournament. The only thing we do know right now is that Marist, for having won the regular season title, has already secured at least an NIT bid. That's if they don't go on to the NCAA tournament. Kelly perhaps got a piece of the Thompson shot, but Vasila, Johnny on the spot for the putback.
Now he had to step up and rotate and challenge his shot. By doing so, nobody was able to put a body on the big guy Vasila inside.
Dangerous pass. Clark does a nice job to knock the ball out of bounds. He landed hard and smacked the back of his head on the hardwood, but he's up to his knees. Take another look. Coming right at you. Tough pass for anybody to handle. But it's good to see that Clark will stay in the ball game. Jason Thompson with the lob pass over the top. Marshall will pick up another foul.
You see now, though, Doug, he's starting to get some doubles inside because Vasila now into the game. They try to go high-low, but Vasila doesn't shoot the ball well enough to force the other post defender to guard him. Instead, John Kelly able to maneuver and help inside. All of a sudden, when you've got two guys on top of Thompson, he doesn't have the same room to move around, maneuver, and find some lanes. Jason Thompson draws a crowd. There's two defenders on him, so Vasila able to get himself the putback.
Rob, that foul on Marshall was his third. Harris Mansell for Rider also has 3. He's gone to the bench. Marshall also on the bench with just over 3 minutes left in the first half.
Rider once again in their half-court trap. They've had some success with this. Have success with it again. Force Iona pick up the basketball and call another timeout.
All right.
Third timeout already here in the first half for the Gale.
And that right there is another byproduct of your inexperienced guards. And we talked about the fact that the MAAC has 5 freshmen starting at the point, including these Iona Gales, and they have 2 freshmen in the backcourt. And here, The defense by Ryder forces the trap, and Brodanovic is basically triple teamed with the sideline and has to burn another timeout.
And again, you've got to recognize the fact that they're in the half-court trap. They've been in it a number of different times off the made foul shot. What you can't do is get yourself to the situation where you use that sideline as a third defender.
Triple team.
That was a trap. Not only defensive, but a tough one sometimes to get out of the mouth.
Absolutely. Pass was intended for Kelly, who had vacated the spot. Bruin kicks it to Griffin. Bruin after the miss. Brodanovic gets knocked down and gets tied up. And it'll be Ryder basketball.
You see 4 gray jerseys into the lane, and that's a key once again for Ryder. Making sure that everybody rebounds. Even though you've got a terrific rebounder like Jason Thompson, he needs help and support. And if you're going to play a smaller lineup, those guards have to really dig down, drop in, not be worried about getting out on the break, but instead make sure you take care of getting the basketball first.
Thompson to the cutter, his brother Thompson, and a foul before the shot. Jason to Ryan, and then the personal foul called against Devon Clark.
Well, that's just good movement out of their half-court set. Jason Thompson able to draw a crowd, and when he does that, now if you move without the basketball, you're going to find some good lanes.
Well, the Thompson boys teamed in high school for a 28-0 record back in 2004. That was at Lenape High School. And you can just imagine what kind of combination they must have been in the neighborhood as well. You know, you're picking up sides. I want the Thompson boys on my side.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, especially now, they go back into the park, and, you know, early on, maybe, you know, Jason Thompson, a bit of a late bloomer. Ryan Thompson was the same as well, but now all of a sudden, I guarantee you, they dominate.
Jason Thompson with a block shot. He averages over 2 per game. And he goes off his man Kelly to come over and block Hassett, who got himself into a tough spot behind the backboard.
One of the reasons why he was the MAAC Defensive Player of the Year.
Here's Kelly to the jump hook, and count the basket. Vasila picks up the personal, and the 7-foot transfer from Penn State University has a chance for a 3-point play.
And at times it's hard to get Kelly enough minutes because he's got so many tough matchups in the MAAC, trying to go defend out on the perimeter against smaller, quicker guys, but he can as well create some mismatches on the offensive end with his size. He's actually been playing pretty well over his last 5 appearances, averaging over 8 points per game.
Well, Rob, that is something that quite often goes unnoticed, that when a post player, a 6'10", 6'11", 7-foot guy, transfers from a Big East or ACC school back to a mid-major, that a lot of times, because of the matchups, it's really hard to get playing time for the big guy. I mean, a lot of people perceive, as Vasila lays it in off a nice pass, hard to perceive that the big guy who was recruited by a Big East school or a Big Ten school can't come in and just dominate, but there's more to the game than that.
Well, and certainly sometimes those guys are at the Big East or ACC level because of their size, not necessarily because of their skill sets. Talk about a nice pass. Once again, good interior passing. We've seen that from Thompson a couple of times with some nice feeds. Picks up the assist right there.
Brodanovic finds the back iron, and the rebound comes down to Lamar Johnson, a sophomore from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
And the flip side of what we were just talking about is you see Iona unable to get anything done from the three-point line, much like St. Peter's came up empty from beyond the 3 in the first game. But you see guards that transfer down from the Big East ACC level, all of a sudden able to dominate at times. Gerald Brown, the transfer from Providence, a perfect example of that this season for Loyola.
Well, Luis Flores is the greatest example of that over the last decade, transferring from Rutgers to Manhattan College, and he just became the best player in the conference and led his team to consecutive championships.
An efficient first half so far for Ryder. They had the early energy, made sure that they matched that from Iona. They've got themselves a 14-point lead, and Tommy Dempsey takes the timeout in the use it or lose it situation.
Well, Rob and MAAC basketball fans, you can win great prizes in the MAAC Pathmark Slam Dunk program at your local Pathmark store now through March the 9th when you use your Pathmark Advantage card to buy select flavors of Capri Sun Base 10 packs or Capri Sun Roaring Waters. Select Kool-Aid Jammers 10 packs or select Nabisco single serve tray packs. You are entered to win a Pathmark gift card and round-trip travel on JetBlue Airways or a gift card from FYE. For more information, visit your local Pathmark store, or as always, you can log on to the conference website, MAACsports.com.
Mouton continues to struggle from beyond the three-point line. Just one of his last 18 threes, and those were shots that he was making early in the season, but has really gotten himself into a three-point shooting slump.
Iona down 13 with 10 seconds left in the half. Anthony Bruin with 3 to shoot. Griffin gets it off from the baseline, and that is the end of the first half. The 10th seed from Iona has not been able to do much with Jason Thompson and the Rider University Broncs. As expected, the first team all-conference star leading the way. Rider with a comfortable lead at the intermission. We'll take a break and come back with our halftime show from the arena at Harbor Yard in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
MAAC fans can win great prizes in the MAAC Pathmark Slam Dunk program at area Pathmark stores. Use your Pathmark Advantage card to buy select Capri Sun Base 10 packs or Capri Sun Roaring Waters. Select Kool-Aid Jammers 10 packs or select Nabisco single serve tray packs. And you're entered to win a Pathmark gift card and round trip travel on JetBlue Airways or a gift card from FYE. For information, visit your local Pathmark store or MAACsports.com.
This game is brought to you by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. FYE for your entertainment, music, movies, games, and more. And by Sirius Satellite Radio. Ride the big dog.
And the second half just underway here in Bridgeport as Iona, the defending MAAC champ, trails by 13 to the Rider University Broncs. Justin Marshall, Mike Harris, Deshaun Griffin, Anthony Bruin, and Devon Clark. The starting 5 for the Gales in their road maroon uniforms. Rider, meanwhile, in their home grays with the cranberry lettering.
Very quiet first half for Mike Harris, the freshman from Iona. 0 for 5 from the floor.
Ryan Thompson now with 8 points. He's out there with his brother Jason Thompson, Terrence Mouton, Lamar Johnson, and Harris Mansell, who got himself into foul trouble in the first half. Had 3 fouls and played limited minutes, but still came up with 11 points in those 13 minutes. Marshall with the pull-up. He's into double figures with 10.
And he needs help. The problem is nobody else can get anything going. We talked about Anthony Bruin in our star watch. Not much happening as far as Bruin's concerned. Just 2 points in that first half.
Let's take a look at the first half stats brought to you by FYE for your entertainment, music, movies, games, and more.
Well, not hard to go past those first 2. Rider shot the ball well at 53%. Iona 2 for 13 from beyond the three-point line. And then we talked about the fact that Anthony Bruin had to have a monster game to hang in there. That certainly has not happened. Just 2 points for Anthony Bruin. Get to have a field goal on the board. Well, that's the thing that you just kind of scratch your head at times. He's just too content to disappear. Looks disinterested out on the floor at times.
Meanwhile, Harris Mansell has gone back to the bench after having picked up his 4th foul just a minute into the second half. Good help defense, but it looks like the primary defender, Justin Marshall, is going to be whistled for the foul. And that is his 4th foul. So very quickly, the 2 guys who couldn't afford to pick up fouls here in the second half do just that. So Marshall will be replaced by Pradanovic.
But Rider with some more options off of their bench, especially Cam Warner, who's been playing much better basketball last couple of weeks. And Mansell had already gone to the bench with his 4 fouls, and now Marshall joins him.
Jason Thompson to the left hand. And an offensive foul. Jason Thompson picks it up as you see Clark being held back up. He stood his ground, so foul number 2 on Jason Thompson.
And from the first time that Thompson touched the basketball, Jeff Ruland was working the officials for that call. He thought at times he was swinging the off arm. Didn't see it there. Matter of fact, didn't see the charge either.
There's Anthony Bruin's first field goal. It's got barely a fingertip on it, but just enough to knock it through the cylinder.
But again, now here's where he's got to just regroup. Hey, it's your last game. Go out swinging, get in there and look like you're interested in playing.
That's exactly what he just did there, drawing the charge. We've seen that a couple of times in the last 2 ball games for Iona, where Bruin, who is a by nature shot blocker up top, is willing to take the body and draw the charge.
That's a good defensive play to step over, and as you said, Doug, give up your body.
Clark left alone. Ryan Thompson didn't close out, and Clark knocked it down.
And it's amazing, your senior, who's been dead quiet all game long, all of a sudden he gets a tip in, picks up a charge, starts playing with some energy, and the rest of his teammates start to feed off of that.
Now remember, Rider is the only team in the conference to have lost to Iona this year. So the Gales have to believe, as do the Bronx, that they can win this ball game. We talked about it, that the man who was the difference in that game, Clark, went for 19 points. That's his career high back on February 3rd, just a month ago. So if you're Iona, you've got to think, hey, we could do this. Thompson knocks it out of bounds, and so now the Gales inching back into it, down 9, get the ball back.
An opportunity to extend their 6-0 run.
Clark into the paint. Strong move for 2 more.
Able to put the ball to the floor and get into gaps against the zone defense. Not settling for threes, but instead, Jeff Ruland's team in the midst of an 8-0 run to get themselves back into the ball game.
Well, Devon Clark went for 19 points, as mentioned back in February, as Iona beat Rider. He's got 10 points so far here tonight, trying to keep the Gales close.
It's a college in the city, a college in the country.
It's big.
It's small.
It's modern.
Traditional. It's Frisbee on the quad. It's big-time basketball at the Garden.
It's the best of all worlds.
Manhattan College. A world-class faculty and student body on a beautiful, quiet campus, minutes from the center of everything.
So come be a part of it. Manhattan College.
The best of all worlds.
The Iona cheerleaders made the trip from New Rochelle out here to Bridgeport, Connecticut for the MAAC tournament. How long a stay will it be? Well, if Devon Clark and the Gales continue to make a surge, perhaps they could shock the MAAC basketball world. Back within 7, showing some signs of life. And as you talked about, Rob, when your senior, Anthony Bruin, starts to show some life and productivity, some of his teammates might be feeding off that here in the second half.
Absolutely. That's what we're talking about, leadership, and seniors need to step up and make plays. Remember, too, Rider, they've gotten out of sync offensively once Harris Mansell picked up his 4th foul and went to the bench. That was also a big contributing factor to Iona's run.
And now Anthony Bruin is going to get called for the foul. Jason Thompson has already gotten Marshall to the bench with 4 fouls, and now he's working on getting Bruin to the bench. That's his 3rd.
So quick and active. Puts a lot of pressure on the post defenders.
Lamar Johnson's lob for Vosilla goes out of bounds. Perhaps he thought Jason Thompson was on the post.
That works for Thompson, does not work for Vosilla. Vosilla, a wide body, takes up a lot of space, but he's not going to get off the floor like Thompson will.
So Iona down 7 with the ball.
If they could start making some outside shots, especially now that Rider's settled into a little bit more zone here in this second half. Bogdanovich again just not willing to step up and take that shot, as if he doesn't have the confidence in the 3 ball.
Harris working the baseline, kicks to Bruin, it goes through his hands, back to Rider. Johnson with a quick trigger. Ball comes to Clark, who hands to Griffin, who looks to push tempo. He's got Bruin up ahead, finds Anthony, who dribbles and bounces it off the shin of Pradanovic. So a missed opportunity at the other end turns into 2 points as Thompson cleans up Thompson.
Well, it took a while to get anything going in a positive direction there for both teams. A little sloppy play, but once again, Jason Thompson there to clean it up.
Let's see if Ryan Thompson can finish. That's back-to-back missed layups. Let's see if a veteran teammate picks him up again. That's the case as Mouton calmly swishes the three.
And a big shot for Ryder, not just to try and get themselves back up to the double-digit lead, but we talked about the fact coming in that Mouton was just one of his last 18 threes. They're going to need him to make shots, whether they need it tonight, Doug, or if they're going to try and advance on and make this more than just a one-day stay. Mouton's got to make some deep three-point shots.
Well, what a difference a year makes. Last season, Jeff Ruland led his Gales to the NCAA tournament. Little different story this season here in Bridgeport.
MAAC fans can win great prizes in the MAAC Pathmark Slam Dunk Program at area Pathmark stores. Use your Pathmark Advantage card to buy select Capri Sun Base 10-packs or Capri Sun Roaring Waters. Select Kool-Aid Jammers 10-packs or select Nabisco single-serve tray packs. And you're entered to win a Pathmark gift card and round-trip travel on JetBlue Airways or a gift card from FYE. For information, visit your local Pathmark store or MAACsports.com.
Back in Bridgeport, day one of the 2007 Bank of America MAAC basketball tournament. A year ago up in Albany, it was St. Peter's against Iona in the MAAC championship game, and Keidron Clark, the two-time defending national scoring champ, led the Peacocks as far as they could go. But then that senior class of Iona, one of the best in school history, led by Steve Burt Jr., got it done. Jeff Ruland, the bear hug for Kiki Clark, and they were dancing along Pearl Street in Albany and partying down on the New Rochelle campus. But there won't be any such parties this year for Jeff Ruland's club. Just looking at the finish line of what's been an extremely long year.
And you and I were talking about it. You hope that Iona fans and everybody throughout the New York metropolitan area doesn't forget about that great run last year and focuses in on what's been obviously an incredibly difficult season for Iona. You know, that win and championship run wasn't 10 years ago. It was 12 months ago.
Nice article in today's New York Post about Keidron Clark and the success that he is having as a professional in his rookie season over in Greece in that same league as Steve Burt Jr. They're still together.
Those two guys, as we said a couple days ago, they can't separate themselves. Played in high school, played in the MAAC against each other, and Steve Burt with that terrific run in the MAAC tournament, able to win the MVP award, something that his dad did. You talk about father-son duos at the same school. Number one and number two all-time in scoring, and both guys able to lead their teams to a MAAC championship, advance on to the NCAA tournament, and win that MAAC tournament MVP.
By the way, that free throw for Anthony Bruin gives him 750 career points during his 4-year stay at Iona College. Joel Green into the game for the first time. Misfires on his turnaround jumper.
Foul trouble for Ryder has forced Tommy Dempsey to go a little deeper in his bench.
Joel Green was a guy who started the year as a starter, and his minutes have dropped off drastically over the last few weeks. Johnson comes up short. Jason Thompson hustling and fighting for the ball with Harris, who is called for the foul.
And that's a key, hustling. He always makes a trip down the floor. Not thinking or expecting his teammate to make a layup. Instead, he's going to make the run, make the trip, and give himself an opportunity, if they miss it, to clean it up.
And so Harris, the 6'3" freshman from Columbus, Ohio, commits his third foul. Here's Jason Thompson. Single coverage on him from Bruin. Thompson with the great spin move left himself so open. I think it surprised him and he came up short on the easy shot.
He came up way short. Almost as if he lost the handle of the basketball as he turned around and found himself, as you said, so wide open.
That was a great spin, great footwork, very quick, but then couldn't even come close to delivering the bucket. Joel Green off the glass and in.
Green, as you said, had a more prominent role for the Bronx early in the season, but as Tommy Dempsey has kind of changed the way they've played and gone to the four-guard lineup late, he's been pushed a little further down the bench.
.10 to go. Second half, and Green being very proactive. That's his third shot attempt since coming off the bench, but he's called for the offensive foul.
You got to like the way that he's been aggressive in trying to attack and get things going. Able to post up or step through. Let's see. Clark coming up, grabbing his wrist as he went down to take the charge.
And so he goes to the bench holding that right hand, and Hassett comes back in. Nice pass from Hassett into Bruin, who creates space and banks it home.
It steps right through a double team. He had a couple great jerseys around him, but doesn't deter him. Once again, finishing in the paint with his left.
Mouton still with the dribble.
Four out and one in. And again, you see the spacing in the room that Thompson's got to work with.
This time he goes into the paint, puts it up, and draws the foul once again. Kevin Hassett is called for the foul. That's his second.
You see the cutter coming through him, and they get good spacing like that. He's got room to maneuver, and it's hard for the double to get there quick enough to take away his lane.
Jason Thompson says he aspires to be an ESPN anchor or analyst. As you see the ice to the wrist of Devon Clark. And that's what Iona needs, like it needs a hole in the head. Another guy needing time with a trainer. First field goal for Mike Harris here tonight. And a chance for a three-point play.
Now Harris, a guy who was playing his best basketball coming down the stretch of this season. Tough finish as he was able to find the angle and finish it as he falls to the floor.
Iona has cut the lead back to 9. Little full court pressure off of the made foul shot. Mouton handles very comfortably with Griffin on him. There's the spacing you've talked about, Rob. Jason Thompson kicks it out, looks for the return pass from Green, gets it, and goes to work. And a chance for another three-point play.
And again, the unselfish play. They dump it into Thompson. He doesn't force it. Instead, kicks it back out. When he reposts, now he's got the ability to make that quick move. You're going to see right here the cutter come through. As you throw the ball into the post, you can't stand still. If you do, it's easy to go double. By the cutter coming through, it allows Thompson the ability to not see that double team, and instead, when he's isolated one-on-one, he's gonna score it in the paint.
Well, he's got his 16th double-double of the year, and when you average 19.9 points and 9.9 rebounds a game, you're gonna have a lot of double-doubles. And so far tonight, Jason Thompson has 17 points and 11 rebounds. Harris, the jump stop off to Bruin, who had it taken away. Ryder has numbers. Joel Green, no. Thompson with the tip in. 19 points now for the junior out of Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Well, he was a second-team All-MAAC star the year before. He's certainly a first-teamer this year. Pradanovic has it blocked by Green. Mouton, Pradanovic, Griffin, Green all on the floor. And it'll be a held ball. The Gales will keep possession when we come back. We'll take a break with 11:10 to go in the second half. Jason Thompson and the Rider Broncs trying to make their way into tomorrow's MAAC quarterfinal round.
I'm Emeka Okafor, college graduate, Charlotte Bobcat, and proud recipient of the Aeropostale Big East Scholar Athlete of the Year. Graduating with a 3.76 GPA and a degree in finance in 3 years, I balanced books and basketball. Aeropostale gives out more than $300,000 in scholarships to both students and student athletes. It wasn't and still isn't all about the rebounds.
Everything's getting faster, sexier, and yet less expensive. So, why not cars? Say hello to the G6 sedan, G6 coupe, and G6 hardtop convertible. G6, one of the fastest growing brands in America. Pontiac, designed for action.
Every choice really does make a difference. In you. In how you see the world. In where you'll go and what you'll do. In the people you'll touch. In the lives you'll change. Including yours. Niagara University. Education that makes a difference.
The MAAC Basketball Championship continues with Game 2 of our opening night doubleheader. Iona trailing Rider 57-43. And there's a look at the 2007 Old Spice Classic down at Disney in Orlando. Rider will represent the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference a year after Marist was the representative, and the Red Foxes went down and represented the MAAC very well, knocking off Minnesota, putting on a good show, and Jared Jordan really put on a terrific show that further opened the eyes of people around the country.
Yeah, he was the MVP of the tournament despite the fact that Marist finished in third. The Red Foxes able to go 2-1. Not only winning that first game against Minnesota, but getting a win against Western Michigan. It seems like so long ago when the season got underway, as Arkansas was able to win that tournament in a very good game against Southern Illinois. And those two teams have gone in opposite directions. Arkansas has basically played themselves off the bubble, and Southern Illinois has obviously played themselves into a very, very good seed in the NCAA tournament.
And now that Old Spice Classic field for 2008 is partially filled. The year after, Siena will represent the MAAC. And again, all of that goes on at the Disney Wide World of Sports Complex down in Orlando. And we'll show you that 2008 field coming up momentarily. Ryan Thompson making like his big brother down in the low post with the easy two. That's 10 points now for the freshman.
Able to rub off the screen. Again, it all starts with the spacing.
Hassett with his second three-point bucket of the night.
He was a guy that played some good minutes early in the season, then kind of ran into a bit of a freshman wall. Wasn't playing as well, not getting as many minutes. Had a good game last time out against Manhattan. Playing well here tonight.
Two more for number one, Jason Thompson, with 21 points to lead all scorers.
They just do not have an answer for Thompson inside.
Hassett's pass knocked away by Jason Thompson, and he leads the pack, gets the pass, and drops it off for his younger brother, lays it in.
Yeah, but how about everything that Jason Thompson did on that play? The deflection, his long arms able to get his hand on the basketball, outruns everybody, including the point guards down the floor for Iona. Even though he didn't make the clean catch, able to find his brother with a nice pass.
Bogdanovic misfired. Here comes Mansell back into the game, playing with 4 fouls. And Hassett commits the foul. And boy, Harris Mansell, who scored 11 points in 13 minutes in the first half, has been very, very productive when on the floor, Rob.
Oh, certainly doing a terrific job taking advantage of any of the opportunities you can find, knocking down 3-point shots. Perfect 3 for 3 from behind the line. That time showing you it's not just about 3-point shooting, 3-point play opportunity because of his upper body strength. He really made a big jump, Doug, from his freshman season to his sophomore year. Good passer, he's got good size, really got a good feel for the game. And when you can stretch out defenses, knocking down 51% of your threes, that's a complete package.
Traveling violation against Clark. And we talked about the 2008 Old Spice Classic, the field, and there you see the Siena Saints will represent the MAAC November 22nd, 23rd, and 25th in that preseason tournament or early season tournament. And again, it's another opportunity for schools in the MAAC to get some national exposure and have the chance to play on ESPN or ESPN2. Harris Mansell with a 2-point shot. He's now got 15 points.
Just like that, with his efficient game, 6 for 7 from the floor, all of a sudden, you know, a game that's hanging around an 8, 10, 12-point lead, all of a sudden an opportunity to stretch it to 20 on this possession.
Mansell?
21, excuse me. Wow. Knocking down 3, stepping in. Well, he's got fresh legs. He's been sitting in foul trouble. And see, he's got a smile on his face. No smile on Jeff Ruland's face.
Mansell now with the 18 points on 7 of 8 shooting from the floor, 4 for 4 from the line, or from 3-point land rather. The only thing he's missed pretty much is the 1 free throw that we just saw him miss.
And some minutes because of his foul trouble. Other than that, he has been nearly perfect.
Well, this timeout gives us a chance to show you our Pepsi Slam of the game. And it's Ryan Thompson. We're going to take 3 looks. It was that good. Pepsi more happy.
Well, when you come in and you're doing a Rider game, you figure that it's going to be Jason Thompson that's part of the Pepsi Slam of the game. But it was his brother Ryan, as he turned the corner, able to get the easy finish. And right now, Rider in the midst of an 11-0 run to stretch it out to a 21-point game. And again, you're going to win 4 games in 4 days, Doug. If you get yourself an opportunity to get an easy one, you can get some guys rest. It's been a big game for the Thompson brothers. Both guys getting it done. We've seen some nice cleanup by Jason Thompson on a miss by Ryan. We showed you Ryan's dunk 3. Now let's make it 4. Everybody getting involved. And Jason Thompson, the guy that's keying everything, not just scoring the basketball, rebounding, but his presence on the floor. We've seen some terrific interior passing by the big guy as well, showing you his all-around game.
Our producer in the truck showing his age, remembering the Thompson twins. He's had a long day. They did 4 women's games before Rob and I even got out of bed, separate beds, today. Back again tomorrow with 4 men's games and 2 women's games here at the 2007 MAAC tournament at the arena at Harbor Yard here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. First time the tournament's come here to Southern Connecticut. But again, they are not twins. They are a couple of years apart. This is Jason, the older brother, and that's Ryan, the younger brother, who was fouled by Clark on the pass. That takes us to our next timeout. We'll take a break as Rider has opened up a 19-point lead over the Iona Gales here in Bridgeport.
St. Peter's College. Success is a team effort. St. Peter's College. Education one student at a time.
Ryder can taste that quarterfinal appearance. On top by 19 over Iona with 7:18 to go here in the first round in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And if you've missed any of the action from earlier today, just log on to MAACsports.com. It's got all the up-to-date scores and statistics. Find out both the men's and women's action from here in Bridgeport right through Monday's men's championship game. That's MAACsports.com. Ryan Thompson in hot pursuit of his big brother Jason. He's now got 13 points. Jason's got 21. Tommy Dempsey sitting in a pretty good spot, having those two guys on your roster, and with them both coming back for next year.
You have two sets of brothers playing next year. Harris Mansell, his younger brother Patrick, a freshman who's redshirting this year. How about that? You have two sets of brothers on the same Division I basketball team.
And it is amazing that the entire Rider University athletic department has 11 sets of siblings, which is hard to believe, but two pairs right on this one team.
Hard to believe Rider's got 29 points off turnovers, and that's really when they were able to stretch this game out. Their defense was able to turn Iona over, come up with a couple steals, and then race out to the 20-point lead.
Harris cannot get the roll, but Marshall with the tip in. He's now got 16 points to lead Iona.
Well, trying to finish on a high note as far as a personal scoring standpoint is concerned.
Well, he's only 2 off of his career high with 16 points now.
Not a bad way to end your last game. Obviously, you want to try and win, but you can't. If you're able to put up a career high, something you'll remember.
Well, Justin Marshall certainly has been around for a lot of the good times over the last 4 years, and the young man out of Christ the King High School will leave New Rochelle with lots of great memories, and hopefully over time the memories of this season will fade, and he'll be able to remember and focus on the championship last year and some of the other great teams that he was a part of.
That's what we were talking about. Not just the players, but everybody else, the Iona Gale fans. And as we've said, it's not 12 years ago that they won MAAC championship. It's 12 months ago. Certainly the way this season has gone, it seems like that was light years ago, but it's important that guys are able to remember back and, you know, come away with those fond memories instead of, you know, thinking about what's going on this year.
And the college basketball season is about 4 months long, and I can only imagine that for Jeff Ruland and his club, it has felt like about 9 months.
Oh, no, this year is one of those dog years. I mean, you know, as things go and as guys get hurt, you start realizing, well, we're going to be without, you know, different guys coming in, without Gary Springer, without Kyle Camper, without Dexter Gray, without Alejo Rodriguez, and as those things just kind of mount one on top of the other on top of the other, I mean, it just becomes dog years.
Well, fortunately for Iona, they finally did get that first win and then picked up a second win over Delaware in the bracket buster game, so they didn't have to continue to hear about the streak and about being the only winless team and then the only one-win team, that they were able to get off the schneid. And so the last few weeks, I would imagine, haven't been quite as excruciating as it got there, as the losing streak got to 0-18, 0-19, 0-20.
And losing so many of those close games right there in that 1 5-game stretch where they you know, had a couple of games slip through their fingertips, as Thompson once again able to score it inside.
And Marshall's college career apparently has come to an end as we see him getting blocked, and at the other end he has picked up his 5th personal foul, so he is done with 16 points.
And Doug, did you see how quick Thompson was? Come up with the block, and bang, he's the first guy running up the floor to try and finish at the other end.
This season, Aeropostale is donating a T-shirt for every free throw made during conference play to youth groups in the MAAC community. Over 2,500 coming into the tournament had been made. Thank you, Aeropostale. Kelly misses the turnaround. Another rebound for Thompson, who is just putting up some more monster numbers here tonight. He's got 24 points, and that rebound gives him 16 for the game.
And he's had some monster numbers. How about 16 rebounds to go along with 31 points earlier this season against Siena. 7 blocks in that game.
Yep, and that is the career high at this point. So one more carom, and Thompson will have another mark in his record book. Check that. He's got 20 in a game against Manhattan. Thank you, Rob. Brodanovic with a 2-point shot. So he's still got a little more work to do to get that new career high. But he has had a tremendous night here on the first round of the MAAC tournament.
And I would suspect that he won't get an opportunity to do that because Tommy Dempsey, again, remembering that they're trying to win 4 games in 4 days. They certainly have this one in hand, up by 17. And so if you get an opportunity to rest a couple of your key players, I think you do that here coming down the stretch.
Well, Tommy Dempsey came into the season as a 32-year-old, still trying to feel his way through Division I head coaching. He's the 3rd youngest head coach in Division I right now, and he's only 3 minutes and 26 seconds away from navigating his way into the MAAC quarterfinals.
This is Siena, a college that builds competence and character, where you're part of a team, a place of academic rigor that builds leaders, offering opportunity and values that prepare you for change, leadership, and life. The tradition, the community of Siena, educating for success, one student at a time.
This game is brought to you by Pepsi. More happy. I love New York. What a great vacation. ILoveNY.com. Pontiac, the official performance machines of the MAAC. And by Anaconda Sports and The Rock, the official basketball of the MAAC.
74-57, the Rider Broncs closing in on a first-round victory over Iona here at the MAAC tournament. And as mentioned, Tommy Dempsey is the 3rd youngest Division I head coach. Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, the initials that you're looking at for Dane Fife, who is the youngest. Jeff Capel now at Oklahoma. And then Tommy Dempsey, the Susquehanna University grad in his 2nd year. And he said going into the MAAC tournament last year, Rob, not only were the Broncs the number 10 seed, but also he was the interim head coach. And when he got off the bus going into the arena, he didn't know if that was going to be the last time he was the coach. And it really was such a different feeling. And while this is truly his 2nd year, it is his 1st year where he's in charge and really knows that he's got a chance to build something here at Rider.
And in his first full season, a win here today will assure them a winning record. So get their 16th win on the year.
And as I mentioned earlier, that 16-win plateau will double the number of wins they had for all of last year.
And last year was just such a difficult situation, not only for Don Harnum, who's the interim athletic director, as well as Tommy Dempsey, but for their players as well. The uncertainty is Coach Harnum coming back. Is Tommy going to be the coach again? And so certainly once all that was solidified and put to rest in the spring, everybody got right to it. And a lot of their hard work in the offseason has paid off with a winning year.
And even though last year they only had 8 wins, Rob, I still think they did a real good job of not bottoming out. You know, because you lost Jerry Johnson. You had all of that, you know, uncertainty about the program, and they weren't dreadful by any stretch of the imagination. They were competitive and were able to really rebound and have a terrific season here this year.
Yeah, he never lost the team coming down the stretch, and especially when you've got a couple seniors and you're not winning games, that possibility exists. But he never lost them, but he was disappointed with how they played in the MAAC tournament. He thought they would come back and play real well in that game, and they got blown out in the first round by St. Peter's 80-51. He was very disappointed with that, and he was also a little concerned with all of a sudden would that be a lasting memory that some people, administrators back on campus, would have of their season. It wasn't indicative of how hard they played throughout the year, but instead he was given the opportunity and has made the most of it this year.
And as you see, Jason Thompson now on the bench, and so Coach Dempsey is going to give his star the rest of the night off with 2:14 remaining. Cameron Warner back into the game. And now Ryan Thompson goes out. So again, eyeing the fact that if Ryder is going to make a run at the MAAC title, it's going to need these guys as fresh as possible to play 4 games in 4 days. Kevin Hickman, a junior walk-on who is also the team captain, has come into the game. He's played only 9 games and 18 minutes this season, made only 1 bucket. But number 11 in gray and cranberry has taken off the warm-up suit for a rare appearance, and this is him with a basketball.
And when you see a walk-on who's your team captain, what that tells you is he's a guy that brings it every day in practice.
Yep.
I mean, you very rarely see that because most of the time you want one of your captains to be a guy that's on the floor a lot, but obviously he's a guy that does a lot for this team in the locker room with his leadership and obviously working hard every day in practice.
Yes, Hickman, a 6'2", 160-pound junior from Newark, Delaware. Mansell, who has had a terrific night despite foul trouble, misfires. Rosilla the last to touch, so the Gales get the ball back.
There's our Pepsi player of the game. That was easy. I think we started walking him over a can of Pepsi a long time ago when he went to the bench. And certainly a guy who's been a dominating presence.
Yet another double-double, 24 points, 16 rebounds. Rosilla's done a nice job off the bench here tonight.
Yep, had a good productive first half. Knocked down a couple shots, a perfect 3 for 3 from the floor. Gave him some good minutes.
Yep, 6 points, 4 rebounds. Rosilla's a guy, a 6'7" sophomore from Massapequa. Block shot by Kelly, comes back to the man who had it, Block Johnson, who had it taken away then by Harris.
Doug, as you start looking ahead, Ryder will obviously advance on into the quarterfinal round to take on Niagara, a team that's won 8 straight, but Niagara struggled in their 2 games against Ryder. Niagara able to win a 1-point game at Ryder, and then the last time out for both these teams, 89-77, a game that was a little closer than the final score. So both those teams are comfortable playing in the 70s and 80s and should be another good, entertaining matchup in the quarterfinal round.
And now it appears that Ryder will just dribble out. And mercifully, the longest season in Iona College basketball history will come to a close here. With a record of 2-28, they bow out in the first round. And there is the horn. On the flip side, Ryder with an impressive victory. They move on, led by their Pepsi player of the game, Jason Thompson, his 17th double-double of the season, averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds per game. And he will play again tomorrow night at 7:30.
And he, right from the get-go, had good energy. First 2 times he scored it, he pounded his chest as if to say, hey, give me the basketball, I'm going to carry you guys. That's exactly what he did here tonight.
He's our Pepsi player of the game. Pepsi more happy. And here are the tournament brackets brought to you by Sirius Satellite Radio. Ride the big dog.
And I tell you what, once we've gotten ourselves into the quarterfinals, you've got some interesting matchups. As we said, you see 1 versus 8, you figure mismatch. Well, Canisius was able to beat Marist during the regular season. 4-5 is always a very competitive game. Niagara and Ryder have had some terrific games over the years. And then Loyola and Fairfield. We saw Fairfield beat Loyola coming down the stretch of the season at Loyola, and Fairfield certainly here on their home court. Should be an interesting day tomorrow.
So far, it's all chalk. The 2 favorites win on Friday. Will there be upsets on Saturday? We look forward to tomorrow, and we want to say thanks to our entire crew. They've been here since early this morning doing 4 women's games and 2 men's games. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us. For Rob Kennedy, this is Doug Sherman saying thanks for watching and good night from Bridgeport, Connecticut.